Lori again, and welcome back to my kitchen. Hey, not very long ago, I showed you how I prefer to make cowboy candy, which is kind of a sweet jalapeno relish, where I lime soak my jalapeno peppers to get them nice and firm and crisp before I proceed with the recipe. I just received an amazing gift of jalapeno peppers. Susie, thank you so much. You know who you are. Mwah. Anyway, I have been busy doing jalapeno peppers in a whole lot of ways. And I would like to share another wonderful jalapeno recipe with you. And it is very similar to cowboy candy. This is called Cowgirl Candy. And the twist with this one is that it has pineapple in it. And so it's a lower Scoville's scale. It's not quite as hot and spicy. I do take the time to de-seed and remove all the membranes and stuff on the insides of the jalapeno peppers for this recipe. And I dice my jalapenos pretty small for this also. But it's sweet and it's wonderful, and it's just got a little bit of heat to it from the jalapenos, and I would like to share that recipe with you today. Now, there's a whole bunch of different versions of Cowgirl Candy. And I'm using Amber May's version today. And Amber May is the founder and creator of the Snug group on Facebook. That's SNUG, Canning to Preserve Our Future. Sorry, I'm obviously having speech issues today. I'm a little cold, to be honest. It's really cold here. But anyway, we just invite you to come and join us in the Snug group. Canners from all ages and from all experience levels are in our group and invited to come and join us. You'll find a lot of wonderful, wonderful people, amazing recipes, and a lot of help and guidance. So we invite you to Snug. But anyway, so I am going to share Amber May's recipe with you today. Now, I am doing this in a much larger volume than just a single recipe. I've quintupled my recipe. That's how many jalapenos I have. So I'm making a much larger portion than what you will probably make at home. But I will read you a single recipe today, and then we'll just move on there together. So Amber May's recipe for Cowgirl Candy calls for 2 pounds of fresh jalapenos, 1 1/2 cup of apple cider vinegar, 4 cups of fresh or canned pineapple. Now, if you're going to use canned pineapple, drain the juice off, okay? And you will chop that. I guess really just to your preference, but I chop it pretty small. Then 4 cups of sugar and 4 tablespoons of mustard seed. Okay, now like I said, I'm making a much larger recipe. But what I would like you to do first and foremost, and I already have mine in my pan, let me see if I can get my camera aimed here, is go ahead and put your apple cider vinegar, your sugar, and your mustard seed into your pan. And obviously, you're not going to need as large of a one as what I have today, just because I'm doing such a huge amount. And bring that up to a boil, and then reduce it to a simmer, and simmer for 5 minutes. And I have already done that step. I have already, heated it all up. Occasionally, I stirred it until all that sugar was nice and dissolved. And I brought it to a boil and lowered it to a simmer. And it's been simmering for 5 minutes. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add my jalapeno peppers. And like I said, I chop these fairly fine, just so that there's not great big huge pieces of the peppers in this relish. And you just add that to your hot and simmered brine. Yeah, guys, I'm making a huge, huge mess of this stuff today. Get all those wonderful peppers in there. Okay, and what I like to do at this point is I like to go ahead and I like to bring this back up to a boil, and then I simmer it for about 3 minutes before then adding my pineapple. So I'm just going to stir this up. I'm going to bring it to a boil again. Then I'm going to reduce it and simmer it for about 3 minutes, and then I'll be back. All right, so I have brought this to a boil and lowered my heat a little bit and simmered my jalapenos for approximately 3 minutes. Now the reason why I like to do these separately is because I want them to just get just slightly cooked, okay? Not soft and mushy, but just slightly cooked. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add all of my chopped pineapple to the mix. And my pineapple is at room temperature, so it is going to reduce the heat and the temperature inside my pot. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring this back up almost to a boil, just so that my pineapple is completely heated through along with those jalapenos. And so that should take, I don't know, it should take another 4 or 5 minutes is all. But anyway, so I'm just going to bring this back up to almost boiling and make sure that that pineapple is just heated completely through. And then we are going to start putting this wonderful stuff into our jars and getting them in the canner. In the meantime, I do have my canner heating up. Since we're working with a hot product, we want a hot canner. This is just a simple hot water bath or steam can of 15 minutes today. And I'm going to be doing mine, I have such a large amount, I'm going to be doing mine in pint-sized jars. But you can do this in half pints or even quarter pint jars if you would like to. Pint jars and half pint jars, you will hot water bath those for 15 minutes. The quarter pint jars, hot water bath them for 10 minutes. So let's just let this heat up really good, and then we'll start getting it into the jars. I'll be right back. All right, so I've allowed it to simmer for a few more minutes. Well, heated it back up and then allowed it to simmer for a few more minutes. Now we're ready to go ahead and put this in our canning jars. And like I said, you can use the size that you want. I am going to be using pints today just because I have a whole lot of relish to can. So all I do is I use a slotted spoon to get the relish out of my pot and into my canning jar. Oh, you guys, this smells so good. Do be careful when you're cooking this, whenever you're working with jalapenos. That steam and the fumes can really become overpowering. So be careful with that. All right, I'm going to get you aimed down here just for a second. And I'll show you a little trick. So I just take this wonderful relish and just tap it a little bit. I think I'm going to need a spoon. Okay, grab the spoon. I think I overfilled my first one here. We want to bring this up to about 1 inch headspace. And just tap it lightly to settle it just a little bit. All right, so you have your 1 inch headspace, and then take a little bit of that wonderful juice that's in there, that brine, and finish filling your jar. All right, how wonderful is that, you guys? Alrighty, anytime you are canning, you always want to take a clean laundered wet washcloth and wipe the rim of your jar and place your lid and ring. And since, like I said, we're working with a hot product, it is going into a hot canner. All right, I'm going to continue filling my jars. Alrighty guys, so my canner is full. I can't fit another jar in this thing. That's how big my recipe was today. But all we are going to do is, if you're going to steam can like I am, just put your lid on your stovetop PC. I'm going to bring this up to a full vent, and that is when I will start my timing at that point in time. And I am just going to steam can these. If you would like to traditionally hot water bath them, that's an option too. So either hot water bath or steam can for 15 minutes. If you're going to do the little tiny quarter pint jars, you can go for 10 minutes. But half pints and regular pint-sized jars do 15, hot water bath or steam can. Now, I do want to share with you also, while my canner is coming up to a vent here, that you will have leftover brine, okay? You can't make cowboy candy or cowgirl candy without having lots of leftover brine. And you guys, can this up, all right? I fit about 4 pints of this into my canner, and then my canner was full. So I'm going to have to do another little batch. But you can can them at the same time you can your cowgirl candy. And you can use this stuff as a marinade for meat. You can use it right at the table to drizzle over chicken or steak or pork or whatever. And this also makes a wonderful barbecue sauce, which is what my plans are. So hopefully within the next couple of weeks, I'm still working on a lot of produce from the garden, still working on tomatoes, still working on apples, and I have onions begging for attention. I have potatoes begging for attention. So hopefully within the next couple of weeks, I will find some time to share my recipe on how to make this wonderful leftover cowgirl candy brine, or if you have cowboy candy brine, I'll share how to make that into an amazing barbecue sauce. All right, so I'm going to bring this up to a vent. I'm going to time for 15 minutes, and I will be back when it's done to show you the amazing and delicious results. All right, so I got through my 15-minute steam canning period, and I allowed my canner to cool off, and then I cracked the lid just slightly and allowed it at least another 15 minutes to cool off. So now I feel like I can go ahead and remove my lid and start removing my jars of wonderful cowgirl candy. Now remember that some of these in here were my excess brine also, but I'll just show you. Look at how lovely that is. Sweet and spicy relish. This stuff is so good on a cracker with a little bit of cream cheese, and then you take a teaspoon of this and put it on top. It is a wonderful appetizer or snack. I use this also on a lot of our meats. We literally just have a jar on the table. I keep it in the fridge after I open it, of course. But I have a jar on the table, and you can take just a little scoop of that and put it on top of any meat that you are having for supper. It's amazing on steak. It's amazing on chicken. It's amazing on pork. This stuff is just really good and really versatile. So I will just finish, I guess, unloading my canner here off cam. But I hope that you found this recipe fun and interesting, and I appreciate you spending your time with me again today. God bless you all, and happy canning, everyone.